The Great Hall of the Galactic Council was filled with laughter. Screens hovered in the air, showing a short message from Earth's United Alliance. The message was just one line: "Stop sending patrols through our space. We're annoyed." The Zarn ambassador laughed the loudest. He was tall, covered in dark scales, and known for his strong voice. He stood and said, "This is what humans call a warning. How soft they sound. Annoyed. Next time. Maybe they'll say they are a little upset." Others joined in the laughter. The council, made up of more than 30 alien species, had always seen humans as odd but harmless. Their ships were not the biggest. Their fleets were not the fastest. They joined the Galactic Council only 50 years ago and still followed many of the old rules. They didn't show off. They didn't boast. So when the message came, most thought it was a joke. Even those who respected humans saw it as nothing more than a polite complaint. But the humans were not joking. A few ambassadors looked uneasy. The Bellari representative, a small creature with large glowing eyes, leaned toward her neighbor and whispered, "You know what they did during the Orcan Drift War, don't you?" The neighbor shrugged. They didn't raise their voice. They didn't shout. But when their ship was attacked, they ended the war, and for ours. No mercy, no delay. The neighbor waved his hand. That was long ago, and it was just one battle. They were defending a small colony. But the Bellari representative stayed quiet. She had seen the reports. She had seen the human response. On the other side of the galaxy, near the edge of human space, 3 Zarn patrol ships moved in formation. The ships were large, heavy, and well-armed. They had orders to fly close to human territory, take scans, and return with proof that the humans would not act. The Zarn Empire wanted to show that humans had no power. The patrol ships entered the border. For 2 minutes, nothing happened. Then, the lead ship stopped responding. Within seconds, the second ship's engines failed. The crew sent out a mayday, but their signal was cut short. Static filled the channel. The third ship tried to turn around, but something hit its hull. Fast, silent strike. No explosion, just darkness. And then silence. The Zarn Empire received only 5 seconds of static from one of the ships. Nothing else. Back at the council, the Zarn ambassador stood again, though this time with less confidence. "We may have lost contact. Likely a technical issue. We will send a recovery team." But the room no longer felt like laughter. The air was colder. Even the bravest voices grew quiet. 2 days passed. The Zarn recovery team never found any wreckage. The patrol ships were simply gone, as if they had vanished from space. Then another message came from the humans. No threats. No long speech. Just a simple line again. "We are still annoyed. This is your last warning. This time." The room stayed silent. The Bellari representative looked around and said softly, "They warned us once. We ignored it. They warned us again. What comes next will not be a warning." Some still didn't believe. Some still thought humans were just clever. Maybe they used cloaking. Maybe they had help. Maybe it was a trick. But others started to remember old stories. Stories about how humans evolved in a world full of storms, wild animals, and deadly challenges. A world where fire, ice, and chaos were part of everyday life. A world where being annoyed could mean a quiet storm was coming. And once it started, no one could stop it. After the second message from the humans, the Galactic Council was filled with a mix of confusion, fear, and pride. Some species wanted to send envoys to talk peacefully. Others wanted to prepare for war. The Zarn Empire, still angry and proud, decided to show the humans they would not be pushed around. They gathered a much larger fleet. 15 warships, bigger and faster than before, each carrying hundreds of elite soldiers. Their goal was simple: enter human space, scan everything, and teach humans a lesson. The fleet moved like a dark storm toward the border. The aliens were confident. The humans had not shown real power yet. They thought the humans only had small ships and old weapons. But humans were watching. When the Zarn fleet crossed the border, the first signs of trouble appeared. At first, the Zarn ships scanned planets and asteroids with their sensors. All seemed normal. Then, one ship suddenly lost power. The lights inside flickered. Alarms rang. The crew fought to regain control, but the ship's systems shut down one by one. Emergency lights glowed red. The captain tried to send a distress call, but the message was cut short. Before help could arrive, the ship dropped out of communication. One after another, other ships faced the same fate. Their engines failed without warning. Weapons went offline. No explosions. No big battles, just silence and darkness. The fleet commander grew nervous. He sent out drones to find what was attacking them, but the drones returned destroyed or missing. Then, a last ship sent a blurry image back to the council. It showed a small, fast object tearing through the side of a cruiser. No bigger than a human shuttle, but moving like lightning. The council watched in horror. Some members whispered, "The humans are not bluffing." Others said, "It is impossible. Their ships cannot do this." A meeting was called. The Galactic Council debated what to do next. Some urged caution. They suggested sending envoys to talk and avoid a war. Others wanted to prepare their fleets for battle. They said humans must be stopped before they grew stronger. Another message arrived from Earth. Simple, clear. "We are still annoyed. This is your last warning." This time, no one laughed. Even the proud Czar ambassador looked worried. He said, "We crossed the line. They warned us twice. Maybe we should listen." But stubborn pride kept many from agreeing. They believed humans were lucky. They thought that humans only fought when attacked first. They thought this was a game of power and bluff. So, the council planned a third mission. This time, they sent a fleet with ships from 5 different species. It was the largest and strongest force ever sent toward human space. They wanted to show strength and unity. They wanted to prove humans were weak. The fleet approached the border and sent a message to Earth. "We request a meeting. Stop hiding. Show your power." The council waited. After hours, a single human warship appeared. It was smaller and older than many expected. It had no bright lights or fancy design. It looked simple. The alien commanders laughed. They thought this was a joke. But what happened next shocked them. All without firing a single weapon, the human ship sent out pulses of strange energy. The pulses did not explode but moved through the enemy ships like a wave. Slowly, systems began to fail. Weapons turned off. Engines stopped working. Communications went silent. 3 alien cruisers shut down in minutes. The human captain sent a calm message. "We are not bluffing." Then the human ship left. The council was silent. Nobody knew what kind of power the humans had. Nobody knew how a single ship could disable 3 cruisers without fighting. Fear began to spread through the council. Some scholars suggested humans had technology unknown to others. Others said humans were simply clever and patient. The Bellari representative said quietly, "Humans don't threaten unless they mean it, and when they act, it is final." Others began to remember old stories of humans surviving terrible wars and natural disasters. Their quiet patience was a warning itself. The council started to take humans seriously. But the Tsar Empire still refused to back down. They sent a message filled with insults to Earth, calling humans weak and noisy. The humans did not reply. Instead, something strange happened. A dark object appeared in orbit near a Zarn colony. It was not a ship. It was a black cube, silent and still. When the Zarn tried to scan it, all their sensors failed. Their ships lost power. Defenses shut down. Then, on every screen, a message appeared. "You were warned." The cube disappeared as quickly as it came. The Zarn colony was left in silence. All their records, files, and sensors were wiped clean. It was as if the colony was erased from history. The Galactic Council panicked. Many species sent peace messages to humans. Some even begged for mercy. Humans said nothing. Trade routes near human space went dark. Satellites disappeared. Probes sent out returned with no data. A new legend grew across the stars. If humans say they are annoyed, it means the warning is over, and the next move will be final. Some species began calling humans silent reapers. One brave diplomat from a peaceful species asked for a meeting with humans. Humans agreed. The council waited. The truth was coming. The Galactic Council's largest fleet was ready. Ships from 5 different species moved together in perfect formation. This fleet was the Council's answer to the human warnings. It was their show of strength. The fleet reached the edge of human space and opened a channel to Earth. The alien commanders demanded a meeting. They wanted to prove humans were weak and bluffing. After hours of silence, a single human warship appeared. It waste landscape. Mason stood on the bridge of his ship, watching the live feed from scouts flying low over the planet. Their defenses are stronger than we thought, he said quietly. Layla checked the data next to him. We'll need a plan that hits their weak points fast. No long fights on the ground. The commanders called a meeting to prepare. They studied maps and enemy patterns. The goal was to free the captured aliens without causing too much damage. The night before the attack, Mason and Layla sat in the quiet corner of the base. The weight of the coming battle was heavy. This mission could change everything, Mason said. If we fail, the Zarnik will crush the colon. Eyes, Layla looked at him with determination. We won't fail. We've come too far to stop now. They talked about the people waiting to be saved, the families, the children, the hopeful. I think about that little girl on Kareen, Layla said softly. She asked if we were the monsters. I told her, no. But they pushed us to stop being civilized. Mason nodded. Sometimes, peace needs strength to protect it. At dawn, the fleet moved into position. Fighters zipped through the atmosphere, disabling communication towers and defense systems. The Zarnik scrambled to respond, but they were caught off guard. Mason led a squadron of ships toward the main landing zone. Explosions rocked the surface as bombs hit Zarnik bunkers. On the ground, human troops landed with speed and precision. They moved quickly through dark tunnels and abandoned buildings, searching for prisoners and supplies. Layla was part of a team hacking into Zarnik computers. She bypassed security codes and opened locked doors. Every second counted. We found a prison block, she reported. Hundreds of aliens are held inside. Mason's voice came over the radio. Get them out safely. No unnecessary risks. The soldiers worked together, breaking chains and calming frightened prisoners. Many had not seen sunlight in months. Tears and smiles mixed as freedom came. But the battle was not without danger. A hidden group of Zarnik soldiers launched a surprise attack. Fierce fighting broke out in the prison hallways. Mason fought alongside his team. Bullets flew, but the humans stood firm. Hold your ground, Mason shouted. After intense minutes, the attackers retreated. Human forces had won, but the cost was clear. Several soldiers were wounded after the battle. Mason visited the free aliens. He met a small girl with bright eyes and dusty hair. She looked at him quietly, then whispered, "Thank you for coming." Mason smiled and said, "We're here to protect you. This ends now." Layla joined them and said, "The Zarnik tried to scare us, but they made a mistake. Now, the galaxy sees their truth." As the human fleet left Vesker, the message spread. Alien colonies once broken by fear now stood tall. The Zarnik's power was weakening. Back on the moon base, President Barnes addressed her team. This victory shows that when we stop being civilized, we become unstoppable. Layla and Mason prepared for the next mission. The war was far from over, but hope burned brighter than ever. The stars seemed less cold now. The galaxy was waking up to a new future, one where peace was protected by strength, and justice would no longer be ignored. And Earth was ready to lead the way. The human fleet moved closer to the heart of the Zarnik Dominion, a massive planet called Zorth. It was the home of the Zarnik High Council of leaders who had ordered the attacks on peaceful colonies. Mason stood on the bridge of his ship, watching the swirling storms on Zorth's surface. "This is it," he said quietly, "the place where it all began." Layla was busy preparing a special virus designed to shut down the planet's defense systems. "Once this goes live, their shields will fail. Our ground forces can move in." The commanders planned the attack carefully. They wanted to capture the leaders alive, to bring them to justice. The battle began with a fierce space fight above Zorth. Human ships dodged blasts and returned fire with skill. The sky lit up with explosions and trails of light. Mason led his squadron through heavy fire, targeting the enemy's warships. He felt the weight of the mission, but kept his focus. Remember, we fight not for revenge, but for justice, he reminded his team. Below, the ground forces prepared to land. Layla watched the progress of the virus she released. Slowly, the planet's defenses began to fail. As the shields dropped, human troops landed on Zorath's surface. The ground was harsh and rocky. But the soldiers moved quickly. They searched for the High Council's fortress, a giant structure surrounded by walls and guards. Mason and Layla joined a special team tasked with leading the final assault. The battle was tense. Enemy soldiers fought fiercely to protect their leaders. "We're close," Mason said. "Hold your positions." They pushed forward, using their training and new weapons to overcome the defenders. The fortress gates opened, and the High Council members were found inside. The leaders of the Zarnik were shocked and afraid. They had never faced humans like this, strong, smart, and unwilling to back down. Mason stepped forward and said, "Your war is over. You will answer for what you have done." Layla stood beside him. "You cannot hide behind fear anymore." The High Council was captured and brought to a secure human ship. Their power was broken. Back on the human command ship, President Barnes watched the prisoners. She knew this was a turning point. "Justice is not only for the strong," she said. "It is for everyone." The High Council would face trial, but the survivors of the colonies would decide their fate. The freed aliens began rebuilding their worlds. Mason visited one such colony, where children played under a bright sky. "Your people fought for us," a young alien girl said to him. Mason smiled. "We fought for what is right." Layla joined them, adding, "The galaxy will remember this day, the day when peace was protected by courage." The war was far from over, but hope filled the hearts of many. Earth had shown the galaxy that being civilized did not mean being weak. Sometimes, strength was needed to protect peace. Mason and Layla looked at the stars and knew their fight had changed the future. "What happens next?" Mason asked. "We rebuild," Layla said, "and we make sure no one forgets." As the human fleet moved toward new missions, the message was clear across the galaxy. Earth had stopped being civilized in the face of evil, and in doing so, had become unstoppable. The captured leaders of the Zarnik High Council sat quietly in the secure chamber aboard the human flagship. Their faces showed fear and disbelief. They had never imagined they would lose their power so quickly. Mason stood guard outside the chamber, thinking about the destruction they caused. The peaceful colonies, the innocent lives lost. He knew justice had to be more than punishment. It had to be a lesson. Layla joined him, her eyes steady. They believed fear was their weapon, but we've shown them strength and mercy. The galactic trial began in a refugee colony where the survivors of the Zarnik attacks lived. Humans and aliens gathered to witness the moment the leaders faced judgment. Smaller than most expected, its hull showed signs of wear, and its design looked old. The aliens laughed. They thought the humans had no chance. But then the human captain made a calm announcement. "We do not want war. We do not want trouble, but we will defend our space." The human ship emitted strange energy pulses. These pulses moved like waves. Through the alien ships, there were no explosions, no loud weapons fire, just a quiet power that shut down systems one by one. The alien ships struggled. Their engines died. Their weapons turned off. Communications went silent. 3 alien cruisers stopped working in minutes. The fleet commander was shocked. He tried to send orders, but his ship was next to lose power. The human captain sent one last message. "We are not bluffing. This is a warning." Then the human ship left quietly. The Galactic Council was stunned. Scientists and scholars began to study the strange event. They learned the humans used a new kind of technology. It was not about power or numbers. It was about control and precision. Some council members whispered that humans evolved on a death world. Their planet was full of dangers, storms, and deadly creatures. Surviving there made them patient, clever, and tough. The Bellari representative said softly, "Humans are not like others. Their silence hides great strength." Fear grew in the council halls. Trade routes near human space became silent. Satellites stopped sending signals. Probes returned with empty data. The Tsar Empire still refused to admit defeat. They sent an insulting message to Earth, calling humans weak, loud, and laughable. Humans did not answer. Instead, something strange happened near a Zarn colony. Black cube appeared in orbit. It was not a ship. It had no weapons. It did not move. When the Zarn tried to scan it, their systems failed. Defenses shut down. Then a message appeared on every screen. You were warned. The cube vanished. The Zarn colony survived, but lost all its records and sensors. It was as if their history was erased. Panic spread through the Galactic Council. Many species sent peace messages to Earth. Some begged for mercy. Humans stayed silent. A new legend grew. If humans say they are annoyed, it means no more warnings will come. Some called humans silent reapers. One brave diplomat from a peaceful species asked to meet the humans. The humans agreed. The council waited for the truth. The Galactic Council was in chaos. The mysterious power of the humans had shaken many species. Fleets were being recalled. Borders were respected more than ever before. The Tsar Empire, proud and stubborn, refused to give up. They sent spies and scouts to find the source of the human power. But every mission failed. Every ship returned empty or destroyed. The council decided to send a diplomat to meet the humans. The diplomat was from the peaceful Velari species. She was known for her calm voice and wisdom. The diplomat's ship traveled through silent space toward Earth. She was nervous but determined. She hoped to understand the humans and find peace. When she arrived, she was surprised. Earth was different. Then she imagined it was full of life, colors, and strange cities that touched the sky. She met the human leader on a quiet station. The leader was calm and strong. His eyes showed years of experience, but also kindness. The diplomat asked, "Why? Do your people say they are annoyed before attacking? Why not warn us clearly?" The human leader smiled softly and said, "We try to be patient. We ask nicely. We give chances. But when we say we are annoyed, it means the time for talk is over." He explained that humans come from a world full of danger. They learned this war was ending, but the work had just begun. Mason and Layla stood on the bridge of the flagship, watching as the free colonies began to rebuild their worlds. The air was filled with hope and new beginnings. "Do you remember the first message from Corrine?" Mason asked quietly. Layla nodded. "It changed everything. It showed us what peace could cost and what we had to protect." A statue was being built on one of the recovered planets, a symbol of unity and courage. It showed a human hand holding the small hand of an alien child. The words carved beneath read, "We asked for peace. You gave us war. Now you get neither." Mason and Layla visited the site, surrounded by smiling faces of all kinds, human and alien alike. "This is why we fought," Layla said softly. "For moments like this, but not always easy. Some still feared humans, remembering the time when Earth stopped being civilized. Many wondered if humans might one day return to violence." Mason understood these fears. "We must prove ourselves every day," he said. "Peace is not given. It's earned." Layla smiled. "And we will keep earning it." Back on Earth, the leaders gathered once more. They talked about the future of alliances, trade, and defense, but most importantly, they spoke about lessons learned. President Barnes addressed the crowd, her voice steady and strong. "We showed the galaxy that we will protect the innocent, no matter the cost. We chose to fight only when peace failed, and we will always remember that strength without honor is nothing." Her words echoed across the stars, inspiring other worlds to stand against injustice. Mason and Layla prepared for new missions, helping rebuild and protect. They knew the galaxy was vast and dangers still lurked, but they were ready. "What's next for us?" Mason asked one evening as they watched the sunset on a quiet alien world. Layla looked at the stars. "We build peace, protect hope, and never forget the cost of silence." The story of Earth's response to genocide spread far and wide. It became a lesson in courage, strength, and mercy. Humans were no longer just explorers or traders, they were defenders of the weak. The galaxy had learned something new, that sometimes, to protect peace, you must stop being civilized. And Earth had shown them how. As Mason and Layla looked to the future, they felt a deep sense of pride. The war was over, but the promise remained, a promise to stand strong, to fight for justice, and to protect the innocent no matter the cost. We started this fight to save lives, Mason said. And we ended it with hope, Layla replied. They smiled, knowing the stars were brighter now. A calm and wait. But when pushed too far, they respond with full strength. The diplomat listened carefully. She realized humans were not loud or violent without reason. Their silence was a warning itself. She asked, will there be peace now? The human leader nodded. Yes, if others respect our space and do not push us. The diplomat returned to the council with a new message. Humans do not bluff. When they say they are annoyed, they have already decided what comes next. The council slowly changed. Treaties were updated. Borders were respected. But the story of the humans spread throughout the galaxy. Many feared the silent patience of Earth's people. Others admired their strength and calm. And the legend grew. If you hear a human say they are annoyed, you better listen carefully, because after the last warning, there is no turning back. The Zarn Empire was not ready to accept the human warning. Their pride pushed them to test Earth once more. They sent a small fleet near a Zarn colony close to human space. The goal was to broadcast a message insulting the humans, calling them weak and loud. The humans did not respond. Instead, something strange happened. A black cube appeared in orbit above the Zarn colony. It was silent, still, and dark. The Zarn tried to scan it, but their sensors failed. Their ship systems started shutting down one by one. Defenses turned off. Communications went silent. Then, a message appeared on every screen across the colony. You were warned. After a few moments, the cube vanished. The Zarn colony was left in darkness. All their data, records, and sensors were wiped clean. It was as if the colony had been erased from the galaxy's memory. The Galactic Council watched in horror. No one knew what the cube was or how it worked. Many believed it was a weapon made by humans, something beyond all known technology. Panic spread. Many species sent urgent peace requests to Earth. Some begged for mercy and asked for forgiveness. But humans remained silent. The trade routes near human space went dark. Satellites disappeared. Probes sent to scan human territory returned with no data at all. The legend of the silent Reapers grew, a name given to humans by some species who believe that when humans say they are annoyed, it means no more warnings will follow. The next action would be final and unstoppable. The Galactic Council finally understood the truth. Humans did not bluff. Their warnings were real and meant to be respected. A brave diplomat from a peaceful species requested a direct meeting with the humans. After long silence, Earth agreed. The council waited nervously for the meeting. All knew that this would change the galaxy forever. The Galactic Council waited in silence. The peaceful diplomats' meeting with the humans was about to begin. Many species held their breath, wondering what the humans would say. The diplomat arrived at the human space station. It was a quiet place, far from battle or noise. She met the human leader again. This time, she was ready to understand the truth behind the warnings. The human leader spoke calmly. We do not want war. We want peace, but we protect our home. He explained that humans learn patience from their harsh world. Earth was full of storms, wild animals, and danger at every step. Humans had to be strong and smart to survive. We give warnings because we want to avoid war, he said. But when we say we are annoyed, it means the time for talking is over. We will act, and it will be final. The diplomat listened carefully. She asked, how can other species understand this? The human leader smiled. Respect our warnings. Respect our space, and no one will be hurt. The diplomat returned to the council with a new message. She said, humans do not bluff. Their silence is a warning. Their patience is strength. The council began to change. Old enemies agreed to new treaties. Patrols slowed near human space. Respect grew for the quiet power of Earth's people. The legend of the Silent Reapers spread. Species told stories of human calm and strength. Some feared the humans' quiet patience. Others admired it, and everyone learned this truth. When a human says they are annoyed, it is the last warning. After that, there is no turning back. The Galactic Council was forever changed by the truth about humans. Many species now treated Earth with respect and caution. No ship dared to cross human space without permission. The story of humans' last warning became a lesson in the galaxy. The calm and quiet patience of humans was no longer a weakness, but a sign of strength and power. One day, a group of young aliens asked an old veteran about humans. He smiled and said, "When humans say they are annoyed, listen carefully. It is not just a word, it is a promise." He told them about the time when the Czar Empire tested Earth and lost ships without a single battle. How a single human ship could disable 3 cruisers without firing a weapon. How Black Cube wiped a colony's records clean with no fight. The young aliens were amazed. They asked, "Why don't humans brag or threaten loudly?" The veteran replied, "Because humans know the value of silence. They try to avoid war. But if pushed too far, their silence becomes the end of the story." The galaxy learned to respect humans' patience and warnings. And from that day on, no species tested human patience. Because when humans say they are annoyed, it means they have already given their last warning, and no one wanted to be next.